Lightning strikes by my window, hits my chest right in the morning, like a warning. Could have slept here for days. I felt your heartbeat, felt your mouth breathe, but it's not real. We were close to see the sun.
Hey guys, what's up? Sammy D here on the, I don't know what you would call this, the front porch of my apartment building. I'm in New York City, so really anything goes, but I am standing out front of my temporary sublet. I've been here for almost a week and a half. The next 2 months is going to be a gypsy ride. I don't really know where I'm staying yet. I'm doing a lot of traveling in April. You're going to be seeing tons of videos from Austin to Reno, Nevada, maybe Las Vegas, and definitely Pennsylvania, where I was born and raised. But today I want to tell you about somewhere different, somewhere really near and dear to my heart. New York City. I have lived in New York City for 10 years as of this August. Guys, I'm 32 years old. I've been here 10 years, and that is almost a third of my entire lifespan. And the truth about social media is we see the highlight reels, we see the good times. We only think that people live good times, sometimes by accident. I know I do this a lot. So today I was inspired to just take you guys on a journey, to show you the places that really represent pivotal points in how I've become the person I am today. And I have so much more growth left. And part of that growth is being here with you guys and exploring the world of secondhand and personal growth and self-love. And most importantly, owning my style story. Hashtag own your style story. So guys, let's go on a little joyride. Let's go see what New York City means to me. And I hope that this inspires you to realize that whatever you're going through, you're not alone, and we are in this together. Alright guys, so we just got off the subway, 116th Street, 23, right behind me, and I'm taking you to where it all began, 2008, Spanish Harlem, NYC. So this is the first street that I ever really officially lived on in New York City. Now I had interned here in 2006 and 2007, but I was staying at the NYU dorm, so it doesn't really count. So I'm approaching what I think was my apartment door. I only subletted for 3 months. It was, I want to say June until August. I want to say it was this building right here, but when I moved, I came literally with a suitcase. I hopped on the Amtrak train, but I didn't have any furniture. Obviously, I just came with a suitcase. And I remember, did I have an air mattress? No, I think I walked this way. And I bought myself an air mattress and a fan. And I bought myself the fan because this was such a hot summer. The summer of 2008 was one of the hottest summers I can ever remember. And to have an air unit, well, first of all, you had to buy it. I had to lug it up the stairs, put it in the window, and pay for the electric. So yeah, I had a fan and I had an air mattress and I had a piece of luggage. And that's how I lived for 3 months. And it was okay because I was happy. I felt like I had made it. And I was only spending $750 a month for my apartment. So after 3 months of living at that sublet, my good friend from college was like, do you want to move in with me? And I think we looked at 2 apartments. We looked at one in the same neighborhood that I had been subletting, and then we looked at one off the 2-3 on the west side around 140th Street that was about $1,800 or $1,850. And we sat down and we had dinner together after seeing that apartment, and we looked at each other and we said, do you want it? And we each said yes. So I stuck around the neighborhood. So from June 2008 until today, March 26th, I have been a resident, unofficially and officially, of Spanish Harlem, USA. And I guess I'm supposed to stay here. All right, guys, here we go. 4-H as in home. So, like I said, I am not living here currently. There are people living here, so this is none of my business. I try to have a very minimalist decor. Try to spread the love and put positive things wherever I can. Here's my bookshelf. Some of them are fashion books. There's a Harper's Bazaar book, and I think there's some vintage fashion books in there too. I can't believe that I'm showing you this space that I have had for 10 years. You know, before you move somewhere new, it's like you've lived with your parents for the most part. And so what is that, 18, 19, 20 years, typically for an American. So having lived here for 10 years, in another 8 years, it will be the same amount as the longest time I've spent at another residence, which is with my parents in Pennsylvania. But here's the plan, guys. There is a wall to my right. You can't see it, but that's where my studio will be. So that's my backdrop and my lights. So I can film inside. I can do, you know, some like dress ups inside with the correct lighting. And then also take you guys outside to explore all of New York City. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the space I have. I'm excited about myself and who I am as a woman in this apartment. When I first moved here, I was a girl. So when I first realized that I was moving back into this apartment after not being here for about 3 years, and it being my first apartment in New York City when I was 22, I guess I was feeling kind of embarrassed. I just thought to myself, I thought I would be somewhere different than I am. I thought I would have, gosh, at least moved to the East Village. This is who I am. I'm supposed to be here. So instead of feeling like I'm less than for moving back, I'm shifting into feeling like I am so enough. But I have to admit to you guys, some days I think to myself, oh, this is really where I thought I would be at 32. But this is where I am. And I have to love that. But for now, I have to take you guys to another neck of the woods, or shall we say city, and show you where my career began. Right around the corner is the entranceway for the first place that I ever worked in New York City, and that's Hearst Publishing. I'm literally nervous being here. This is where it all began. I can distinctly remember coming into New York City for my interview. I had worked so hard at Temple University in Philadelphia to just network my way into the city. And a really good friend made a referral for me. She was already working here, and I had an interview, and I remember leaving and feeling like such a high, thinking that this was going to be it, that this was going to be my way into the city. I was a contractor, I didn't have insurance, and I just started out on the digital media side. Now back in 2008, digital media was basically the dark ages. This publishing company, Hearst, they had just pretty much started their digital side, which basically were the websites for all of the magazines. And the whole thing back then was, oh, we don't want to publish what's in the magazine on the sites, and we can't make money on the sites. And well, has that changed today, guys? really got my start in understanding just how the internet worked at this first job. And I realized that it was a landscape of equality. I didn't even have to have a degree to understand how to navigate it, and most importantly, how to make money. And so when I found myself falling in love with vintage fashion at all of the flea markets here in New York City and all of the stores here in New York City, I thought to myself, why don't I start a blog? So I don't know if you guys know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. He is here on YouTube. But his book in 2008 is what made me quit my job. I got up off my seat somewhere around the 24th floor, and I sat down with my editor at the time and I said, I've decided to leave. And he asked, where are you off to? Congratulations. And I said, nowhere. I would later tell him that I had a dream to create the who, what, where, when, why destination for vintage fashion. This was in 2009. Guys, I started selling at the local flea markets here in New York City while I had this full-time 10 to 7 Monday through Friday job. I would do it on the weekends, and every other weekend or once one weekend per month I would drive home to Pennsylvania and get more vintage. It was crazy, but I was making enough money to cover my really inexpensive rent and to support myself, and I had this vision and I had to follow it. So when I quit the job, I thought that I was going to make a living selling vintage. And I tried. I opened that showroom in the Manhattan mini storage unit. I sold at flea markets. I did pop-up events at people's homes. But it was so hard. It was so hard. And just really deep inside of my soul, even though I was a writer, and I never thought of myself as being on camera, I just wanted to be on camera. So in addition to selling vintage on the weekends, I sold at Artists and Fleas, the Brooklyn Flea. I started a website and bought the domain Sammy D Vintage. When work hours ended, where is the building? It's somewhere behind me. There it is. When work hours ended at that building, I would stay. Literally, the janitor would come through and I would build this website. And it was the beginning of what became Sammy Davis Vintage on YouTube. But the truth is, I knew that I couldn't do it alone. I thought to myself, I need a partner. But where am I going to find a partner who's going to help me build the online destination for vintage fashion? So here's what happened, guys. Fast forward 2010, I had built the site. I was getting page views. I was vlogging on Vimeo. I don't know if you guys remember Vimeo. It's still around. And I was sitting at my desk in my apartment in Spanish Harlem, and I received an email. I remember it was September of 2010. And in the email, someone wrote me, I just graduated film school. I have an interest in vintage fashion and YouTube, and I found your blog. I'm based in Queens, New York. I would love to meet with you because I have a business idea to start a YouTube channel around vintage fashion, and I think you would be great. I see you as being the Martha Stewart of vintage fashion. That is what I had been telling everyone. I want to be the Martha Stewart of vintage fashion. It was literally like God heard my prayers and sent me someone to support me and for me to support them. When I read that email, my jaw literally dropped. This person was telling me what I had been telling every single person for the last year since leaving my full-time job. Now, this person didn't know his age, didn't know anything about him, just received the email. He had a site, not a lot on it, but I trusted my instincts, and I met him right here at Bryant Park. We sat and I don't even remember what we talked about. I think we talked about the business or about potentially going into partnership with each other. But all I know is that when I left that meeting, I knew that I was on my path, and I knew that I had to take a chance, and that I had to say yes to this proposition to have a business partner to support me in creating a YouTube channel and a brand called Sammy Davis Vintage. So there's so much more that I could tell you about everything that went into building Sammy Davis Vintage. Everything that I learned, the internal struggles I had, knowing that I was taking a risk and that it was the right path for me, but also being scared shitless. So eventually, while we were building content, we were building the site, things were happening, I had to get a job. And the only job I really wanted was selling vintage. But when I decided to partner up with my business partner, I decided to shut down Sammy Davis Vintage as a clothing brand. Now, a lot of people still thought it was a clothing brand, but I stepped into supporting the sellers and supporting the industry instead of being the seller. But I still love selling. So I thought that I would take you guys down memory road to that store I used to film at way back in the day on YouTube. Some of you might remember the name. It's not there anymore. I haven't been back for about 4 years now. So let's go see what it looks like and what comes up for me. But back when I needed a job and I needed to do something that supported my YouTube career and my YouTube passions, I found this store called A Little Wicked. All right, guys, this is it. We're about to cross Norfolk Street and we're passing this diner. It's called the Remedy Diner. It still looks the same. Make sure there's no cars. Okay, so if I remember correctly, it should be straight ahead, maybe past the scaffolding. So just so you guys know, the last time I was here was in 2013, right before the store shut down. And I came to the owner's sale because I had stopped working there. Basically, I worked here for about a year and 3 months. If I'm not mistaken. Uh-oh. I hope it hasn't become what I think it's become. Oh. Shoot. Guys. Little Wicked is now a cigar and smoke shop. I don't even know what to say right now. I feel like cueing This Used to Be My Playgrounds by Madonna, because this used to be my vintage store. But literally, I used to stand right there in that doorway. And a lot of you, if you followed me on Instagram way back in 2010 or Facebook, I was more active on Facebook. I would do these outfit shots, basically in the doorway. But hey, whether it's a cigar shop or a restaurant or an abandoned building, you know what that store back there, right there, represents to me is a huge turning point in my life. It's when I found my strength as a person of influence, because every day when I was in that store, I had a decision to make. I could either help people, or I could get in my head and I could think, oh, they're not gonna buy, they don't wanna talk to me, they're in a bad mood, they're bratty tourists, whatever. But every day I went in that store and I spread vintage love. And then we would do the videos. Hey guys, Sammy D here, back at A Little Wicked. Hey vintage lovers, Sammy D here at A Little Wicked, the vintage boutique that I work at in New York City. Hey vintage lovers, Sammy D here, long time no see. I've been super busy, which is a blessing because as some of you may know, I've been working at A Little Wicked, which is this really awesome vintage boutique in New York City. So my partner and I would shoot here before we would open the store. So basically I'd be working that day and the store would open at 12 and we would meet at 10 a.m. and we would shoot from 10 to 12. And I remember there was a radiator during the winter and it was so loud that I had to talk over the radiator. These are the memories we have. These are the memories that make up our character. These are the memories, the moments, the day-to-day activities that seem to mean nothing when they're happening, but actually mean something later on down the road. So I'm just gonna send this place some good vibes. Rest in peace, A Little Wicked. What's next for me? What's next for you guys? I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I think the most important thing is that I just really listen to myself and create content for you guys that's fun, that's informative, and obviously that's inspiring, but also that's authentic. But I just want to be me. And if I can create something for this channel that's gonna leave a legacy, it's gonna really help and serve you guys, most importantly, I want it to be about the vintage seller. Yes, I have style, but I'm kind of eccentric. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm me. But the one thing that I know that I can offer you guys is a resource of vintage stores, both brick and mortar and online. And then, starting next week, you guys are going to see me go into vintage stores and shop and basically introduce you guys to the owner, tell you their story, and give you a chance to basically go shopping with me at a vintage store you've never been to. But if you happen to live near the town or you're actually going to visit that town at some point in your lives, you can go visit because you learned about it through this YouTube channel. You get to own your style story. You get to own the highs as much as the lows, because it's the lows that create the highs, and because it's everything that you're not that makes you everything that you are. And even though things might not look like they're supposed to, I want you to feel like you're on your way, because there's definitely been some times I haven't felt that. And if I had someone like me right now talking to my past self 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, things might have felt a lot easier. So guys, seize the day, carpe diem, own your style story. Don't be ashamed. Be who you are. Own it all. Because I'm owning it. I have nothing else to do. So happy to be back on YouTube land. I hope you guys liked my New York City journey. If you are inspired at all, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me what chapter of your lives you're going through, the high, the low, whatever it is that's on your mind, that's on your spirit. And again, I'm going to be hitting Austin next week, filming some videos. But this week, I am going to the Bronx, and I'm going to explore a thrift store with my good friend Alexandra, who is also a fashion blogger. We're going to look for some thrifted garments that we like, and maybe see if we can spot Cardi B, since she's from the Bronx, and I'm obsessed with her. All right, guys, I love you so much. Keep on spreading that vintage love, and remember, own your style story. See you later. Mwah.